Sometimes we find ourselves in situations we have never been in before, some less dangerous than the others, but one simple mistake or a wrong step could cost your life. In this video, we're going to talk about a few solutions for problems you thought had no solving whatsoever. We are going to teach you a few of the best survival hacks that could potentially save your life. So here is a list of a few life hacks that will make you better equipped for the crazy everyday life. 1. Into the wild, survival tips. How to survive in the wild. The first and most important thing is to find wherever water is. Secondly, find a place to sleep and get dry. Maybe a cave could do it, depending on the weather and location. Another important element to stay alive in the woods is to get food, find a way, hunt, going fishing, finding vegetables and fruits. Learning how to tie knots is quite important when one finds themselves alone and struggling to find or catch any food. If you happen to meet a polar bear in your many travels, make sure to drop anything, your bag, your hat, even a scarf, because that way it'll buy you some time to run for your life. But how do you survive a bear attack? Well, don't immediately run, they will outrun you. Try and play dead if you can't. Always carry bear spray. Hit the dirt with your feet. If nothing works and he does come at you, punch its nose or eyes. In the case that you die, let's hope it doesn't come to that, life insurance should have been considered. So, what is life insurance and how does it really work? Trying to keep it simple, it is an agreement between you and the company you're doing the agreement with, that in exchange for the money that you can pay monthly or annually if something happens to you, this company will pay a certain amount of money to your family. You can also do these agreements for certain experiences like trips. During that week in a foreign country, you're covered if anything happens. There are quite a few benefits of life insurance, and you should definitely get it while you're young and healthy, so stop whatever you are doing right now and get yourself a life insurance, well, maybe after reading this article. 2. Traveling tips. When traveling, especially solo, you should be wary of a few things, so here are some travel safety tips to live by whenever and wherever. 1. Always do your research on the country and the city you'll be traveling to. Don't be too flashy with your clothing that screams tourist, plus it makes you an easy target. 2. Plus you should never leave your house lights on while you are traveling, since most burglars spy on houses before making an attempt to rob the place and they would quickly realize that nobody was inside the house. 3. Always tell some friends or family members where you will be at beforehand so that if anything happens they will know what you had planned and who you were with. 4. Don't bring a ton of valuables, especially if you're going to a place that has a bad rep in terms of street robberies, and lock them up somewhere safe. 5. Also, when talking to strangers, don't share a ton of info on where you're staying and who you are. This could put your life in danger and you're there to have a good time. And bonus, safety tip of the day, if by any chance you think you might be being followed, just say hello and hug the very first person that you see in the street and let them know what's happening. And always, always, trust your instincts. When something sounds and looks fishy, run the other way. 3. Emergency tips. How to stay safe during an emergency. When it comes to emergencies, there are several types of them. During natural disasters, always stay in a known, safe area before getting any new info. It is important to know how to manually turn on the generator in your house if the power is out and to check the radio for news on what to do next. Don't get in your car and drive, that could be the make it or break it. If there is an earthquake, there could be a replica and you have no idea of knowing what will come next. Plus there is always some damage to houses, buildings and roads after a natural disaster. Don't risk your safety by going away from your safe place. 4. What about basic everyday survival hacks? Well, if you break a fork trying to open a jar, there is another way to get around this problem. Just attach duct tape to the lid and pull, that should do the trick. If you accidentally start a small fire, either in the kitchen or in the streets, don't throw water at the flames, just smother it and they will dissipate, I promise. I know our first instinct is to get some water, but usually stepping on it has a better result. Also, if you are driving and think you are being followed by a car, you should take quick turns opposite of what you're signaling. This way you'll be making it more difficult for them to keep up with you. What if you are taking a hike in an unknown part of the woods and your phone dies? Well, in this case, it could really come in handy knowing what time it is without a clock. That is something you can teach yourself, plus next time bring a compass. We hope you'll never need these survival tips, but if you find yourself in one of these situations, try to stay calm and think about your actions carefully. And now that you have learned all these small of important tips and tricks, you'll surely be more equipped to get around out on adventures, trips, and everyday life. Just make sure next time you plan to camp in the wilderness, bring bear spray, a portable shower and extra energy bars. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. We post videos daily. If you want more, make sure to check these videos.